I'm going to show you guys how to deal with multiplying not a monomial by a monomial or a monomial by a polynomial, but now we're going to look at multiplying binomials by binomials. The method to multiply is very simple. You're going to take the first term of each of the binomial and you're going to distribute it into the second term, into each term, of the second binomial. So I'll demonstrate to show you guys. Many people might have remembered the method known as FOIL, but I'll show you using the distributive property. So x, let me just get my pen going. I just re-plugged in. Okay. So x times x is going to give me x squared. X times 2 is going to give me plus 2x. So now that I've distributed the x into the second binomial, I'm going to come underneath and multiply the 1 into each term. So 1 times x is 1x, which we just write x. And then 1 times 2 is 2. The middle terms combine, giving us a final answer of, just move this, x squared plus 3x plus 2. This is also referred to as a quadratic trinomial. Trinomial is 3 terms. We'll get more into that in our factoring unit, which is coming up very, very soon. In the next example, and I just want to get rid of this stray mark before I start, we're going to do the exact same process. So, first term in the binomial is x, so it's going to be x times x, which is x squared. X times 9, which is 9x. Negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 9, which is negative 18. Ooh, my pen's going crazy. Sorry guys, I'm losing my pen here today. Minus 18. Next example, so 3 times 2y, or 3y times 2y, is 6y squared. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't simplify this one. So this would be x squared plus 7x minus 18. 3y times 2y is 6y squared. 3y times negative 1 is negative 3y. Negative 5 times 2y is negative 10y. And negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. 6y squared minus 13y, middle terms combine, plus 5. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative x squared is negative 3x squared. 7x times 3 is 21x. And 7x times negative x squared is negative 7x to the third. And I'm just going to write this in net standard form, so negative 7x cubed. That's a minus 3x squared, so let me actually get rid of that. That should be a minus, not a plus. My apologies. Remember that the standard form is going to be where the exponents descend in order. So negative 7x cubed minus 3x squared plus 21x plus 9. And finally the last one, so negative 4x times 4y is going to be negative 16xy. Negative 4x times negative 8xy is going to be positive 32x squared y. Positive 7xy times 4y is plus 28xy squared. And 7xy times negative 8xy is going to be negative 56x squared y squared. There are no like terms, so you can leave your answer as such. These are some special products. This is the difference of squares that I'll point out soon. We're going to talk more about that in depth in the factoring unit. This is the square of a sum. So if we have a binomial squared, it's the binomial times itself. I have an example of that coming up in a minute. And then the same would be if we have an a minus b squared, or a binomial squared with a minus, it would be that binomial times itself. Here are some more worked out examples. So again, I'll just walk you guys through to show you. So we have x times x, which is x squared, x times negative 3, which is negative 3x, plus 3x, minus 9. So the middle terms actually canceled. This is known as a difference of squares, two perfect squares. Y times y is y squared. Y times 6y is 6y. Minus 6y, so again, those are going to cancel. Minus 36, another difference of squares. So you notice in a difference of squares, the middle terms cancel. By the way, these are perfect squares, but again, I'll get into that more in our next unit. 2y times 2y is 4y squared. 2y times negative 9 is negative 18y, plus 18y, so again, those cancel, minus 81, another difference of squares. 3a times 3a is 9a squared. 3a times 10 is 30a, minus 30a, so again, those cancel, minus 100. So in a difference of squares, one of the things you might notice is that all of these binomials are exactly the same, except one is positive and one is negative in the middle. If I erase that, you can see that a little more clearly. So I'll repeat what I just said and point that out to you. So if you look at the difference of squares binomials, which are on the left side, each one has the same exact terms, but the sign's different. Plus, minus, minus, plus minus, minus, plus. In our example E, we have a binomial being squared. So this is where we have to actually write it out as x plus 4 times x plus 4, which would be x squared plus 4x plus 4x, so x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. Here, same deal, so I'm just going to work out f on the side. 5 minus 11x times 5 minus 11x. 5 times 5 would be 25, minus 55x, minus another 55x. So now the middle terms don't cancel, plus 121x squared, which is where the negative 110 came in the middle. And the last one, there should have been a squared here, so I apologize. 3a minus 10b times 3a minus 10b, 9a squared minus 30ab, that's the multiplication of these, minus 30ab plus 100b squared. And the middle terms combine to a negative 60ab. Some exercises to try. So x times x, x squared, x times negative 8, negative 8x, plus 2x, minus 16, x squared, minus 6x, minus 16. 4 times 4 is 16 with an a squared. 4a times 5 negative is negative 20a. Negative 3 times 4a is negative 12a. So you notice when I distribute the second term, I actually come from underneath. That way you can sort of separate it. 16a squared minus 32a plus 15. 11 times 3 is 33. 11 times negative x is negative 11x. Minus 6x plus 2x squared. 2x squared minus 17x plus 33. I like to write my answers in standard form. Last two. So this is a difference of squares, same terms, different signs. So my expectation is that the middle terms will cancel. Which they do. So I get 4y squared minus 49. 2a plus 12 squared is the binomial times itself, so don't forget to write it out the long way. 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2a times 12 is 24a. Plus another 24a. 4a squared plus 48a plus 144. So very similar problems for you to try in your homework. This is where we have a polynomial times a polynomial, so it's the same idea, you're just distributing one more time. Now, you can be very organized here, so I'll demonstrate. So starting with our first one, we're going to have x times x to the second, which is x to the 3. X times 2x is 2x squared, and x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Now, as I do the underneath terms, I'm going to line up same terms. So because I'm going to get 3x squared here, I line it up with the other x squared term. This is plus 6x, so you notice I'm lining up with my plus 6x. And then, whoops, minus 9. This thing gets sensitive sometimes. Okay. X to the third is the only x cubed term, so these add to a 5x squared. This adds to a positive 3x minus 9. Next one, 4a squared times 3a squared would be 12a to the 4. 4a squared times negative 2a is negative 8a squared, 8a cubed. 4a squared times 6 is going to be 24a squared. So I notice that I've given it out 3 times on the top, same on the bottom. Now this is an a squared here, so I'm going to line it up. Minus 15a squared plus 10a, so there's no a term on top, minus 30. 12a to the 4 minus 8a to the 3. So these combine to a 9a squared plus 10a minus 30. So again, you're just making sure that you're giving out each term of the first binomial into the second. And as long as you do it carefully, you should have no problems. Just because I'm running a little out of space, I'm going to do C over here. So I'll just label C over here. So this is the same idea where you have a binomial squared, but now you have a binomial times itself 3 times. So you want to make sure that you multiply 3 times. Now what I like to do is I'm going to leave this one over here for now, and I'm just going to work with these two, and then I'll bring that other one in. So 4y minus 1 times 4y minus 1, 16y squared minus 4y minus 4y plus 1 is 16y squared minus 8y plus 1. Now I'm going to bring this binomial down, and I'm going to distribute it into that trinomial that I just came up with. Let me get another color and really differentiate between the two. So again, it doesn't really matter which two you choose to multiply together, but it's not a bad idea, of course, to multiply 2 of them first and then distribute the other one after the fact. So here we go. 4 times 16y is going to be 64y to the 3. 4y times negative 8y is negative 32y squared. 4y times 1 is going to be 4y. Now underneath, and I'm going to combine my terms underneath. So negative 16y squared plus 8y minus 1. I end up with 64y to the 3 minus 48y to the 2 plus 12y minus 1. Same deal with d, so I'll just do d down here because I'm writing a little too big, but that's okay. You guys hopefully can just follow if I label everything. So again, I just want to make sure that I multiply two of them. So I'm going to just, it doesn't matter which ones. I'm just going to multiply these two first to show you that it doesn't matter. So I'm going to start with 6t plus 1 and 2t minus 2. 12t squared minus 12t plus 2t minus 2 is 12t squared minus 10t minus 2. So I've just multiplied these two, which means now I need to multiply that whole thing by t plus 3. So I'll just get another color to kind of differentiate. T times 12t is squared is going to be 12t to the 3. T times negative 10t is going to be negative 10t squared. T times negative 2 is negative 2t. 36t squared minus 30t minus 6, 12. Let me move this down. Sorry about that. So that's going to be 12 t cubed plus 26t squared minus 32t minus 6. So again, you're just going to multiply 2 and then bring the other one into the picture. Last one. I'm just checking my math on this one, guys. Just give me a minute. So that's 12, just against my notes. Give me one sec. So that was 12t cubed minus 10t squared minus 2t, perfect, plus 36. Yeah, so that's fine. That's perfect. Okay, E, last one. So E I'm going to do right here. This one is just a quick multiplication of a binomial times a trinomial again. This time you have a negative. Don't let that throw you off. This thing has a mind of its own. So it was negative 5y squared plus 3. Negative 12y to the 4th minus 15y cubed plus 9y. Now that's a 28y to the 3rd, so again I like to line everything up. That's a 35y squared. So that's negative 12y to the 3. So there's no y squared for that to line up with, which is okay. And then that's minus 21. So let's see what we have. We have negative 12y to the 4th plus 13y to the 3. So there's a 35y squared that can't combine, a 9y, and a minus 21. So be careful as you progress through these. Again, you guys can email me with any questions.